Hi everyone. So we're going to be looking at Jawbreakers. We don't have an interesting story about traveling all the way to Charlottesville for this issue because it's digital.
We are close to Charlottesville. It's different.
It doesn't have the Ville at the end. But this is by Richard C. Eyre.
Diversity in comics.
That's right. And I figured out it was him months in advance to this doxing business that's going on.
Right, due to the art style, right? Within one of the older accounts.
Mm-hmm. I followed him on Twitter, and he used to do like this sketch raffle thing, where he would just he would tweet out who could give him an idea to sketch it, and then he would put up the picture and at you. And he changed the account to something else, and I'm not gonna list because people are already looking to go after him in the first place.
Okay. We like this guy so much, we're gonna roast his comic.
Of course, that's how we show affection. Of course, he actually did ask people to roast it.
Yeah, we're not doing it because we're assholes. But we are, but we're not.
Yeah. But this is actually a good way to kick off a little thing where we actually do more comic-related things on this YouTube channel. I've been planning on doing stuff like that for a while, and I've just been too lazy to actually get around to it. And now that Diversity in Comics and Captain Cummings and all these other guys have really gained some traction, it just looks like I've copied them. So
few people copied PewDiePie technically.
That's
that one guy.
I've never watched. I think I've watched like one PewDiePie video, and I was like, eh.
I gotta be honest, I watch them all.
Anyway, a nice little Frank Miller homage cover, but tilted, and it starts off with a nice little 3D model base here, and they're looking up. They're all checking in at the towers and they're making sure no one's coming. They're checking the sky. They've got their 3D model anti-aircraft gun all set up. And don't mind the crying babies. We're not holding them hostage for money or anything.
We are. No.
Definitely.
You wait till we start the video and start
Those.
Shut up!
Those are, I guess, your pseudo stepmother's children.
Whatever. Who cares? But anyway,
with this panel transition here, and I'm hoping that the mouse is going to show up, otherwise you're not going to see what I'm talking about.
One top left.
Yeah, I went from top left to the right over here with the full figure, and it was partially because of the scrolling that I didn't go to this bottom red one, but my eye is just trained to kind of automatically do the left to right thing, so the bottom kind of threw me off for a little bit as far as sequential storytelling goes. I like the little color scheme thing that he has going on.
Yeah, though I feel like it somewhat supports the eye transitioning though, because like you're relating the one half page panel to the one quarter page panel, and you're thinking that your eye is supposed to go over there, and then like just subconsciously, like you don't automatically go there. That's probably not the right way to read it, like you were saying. You're supposed to go down to the red panel and then over to that one.
Yeah, and that helps it out having it red there, because then you go, oh wait, it draws the eye to the bright red part, so you know to go there.
Yeah.
And it's like that throughout. Usually, like the intense moments are in red. I feel like the only thing that the monochromatic color scheme is hurting is differentiating the characters sometimes, but we can get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So we've got a white dude come over, and surprisingly, he's not the bad guy. He's actually not the good guy.
Yeah, and not surprisingly, white dude's reading a Bible. I bet he's American too.
And he starts quoting the Bible at the towers, and just like any average person would say, the guy up here is like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I mean, I guess they get Jehovah's Witnesses out in African military bases.
No, they get shot. They get shot. I like how the foreign military guys, they're just absolutely retarded. Like, they have no idea what he's talking about.
Yes. I like how they get flustered and they don't actually like get him in trouble for doing any of this stuff. They just like tell him to go away. Like, no, you're at the wrong secret military base. Go to a different one.
Another thing is they're talking like American black people too, which is funny. I ain't never been near that water.
I never did none of them things. Although, darn screen. I'm having to use a scroller to look at this because it's a PDF file. Yeah, he really is pretty much good for a priest. And I like how he's reading the Bible, but then he says he's blind.
Yeah, and I like how he, like, freaking... How the hell did he get there confusing? Like, he confused the address. How are you reading the address? You're in the middle of the fucking jungle. And then, well, I just thought something. What if that's in Braille?
Maybe it is. Because his hand does appear to be...
like, reading the page.
Yeah.
But still, how the hell did he get there?
I'm not sure... I guess this word balloon is supposed to be going to the guy in the background. So they tell him he's basically at the wrong address. He says, sorry, I'm blind. And the tower was distracted by this guy. So they finally report in and they say, sorry, there's some preacher. And he's like, what are you talking about? That could have been some sort of guy trying to get intel on us. So we see that the priest is one of this little A-team they've got over here. And it looks like they're going to be rescuing these girls that are being held there.
And you're going to see some very blank-faced girls, too. If you see that they all look almost exactly the same, and their faces look like they're, like, drawn. They are drawings, but you know what I mean.
I do have to say that I really like the banter. Like some of it doesn't come up as very natural, but some of it is well done. And I laughed out loud a couple times while reading this. Just stuff like the scope's cracked. He says, "Don't yell at me." I threw it very carefully. Just goofy little things like that.
Yeah, like they really do have like this sense of camaraderie between each other. It's all that. Maybe not so much for military personnel, but they've got a lot of friendly things going on there. I appreciate that.
So they're pushing the tank instead of actually driving the tank. So evidently, these two guys have some sort of super strength tank. I wish this was physical. We wouldn't have this problem.
We just had a look at our project.
We should have done it in our car.
Yeah.
So they're pushing the tank through the jungle. You hear that? That's no jungle sound. They're looking for a heat signature. They don't see a heat signature. Then the tank fires at the tower and blows up Tower 4.
3D gun.
That's right, the 3D tank and then the 3D rocket launcher. They're calling it the Javelin. So I guess that's what it's supposed to be.
Pretty creative.
So the reason they didn't see the tank coming is because the tank engine's not on. So I don't know how the tank fired if it's not on. Sorry, but
another non-diversity in comics.
No, well, actually, it wasn't on purpose. So that's a clever idea that they didn't see it coming until it was too late because they're pushing it and the engine's off. But I don't know how it fired.
I suppose kind of like a car. I mean, I don't know much about tanks, but I know that sometimes you can have lights on inside of the car while it's turned off. Or you can turn on the AC and then not turn the car off. I don't know how the hell you did it, but my dad did the other day.
Maybe they fired it and then shut it down instead. No, because we saw them pushing it.
I mean, maybe the gun is just a different mechanism.
That's possible. Yeah.
It's possible.
That gun is actually hand drawn. It looks like.
Yeah, I like the look of that gun.
Yeah, that fits in. Like you can clearly tell when it's a model when he actually drew something. It's very harsh delineation, dude, because this is I wouldn't say that it's rough, but it has like a nice sketchy feel to it that I like.
Yeah.
And then it's in stark contrast to this very generated look of the backgrounds and the props. And so they find out that the black one is bulletproof, and that immediately leads them to realize that it's the Jawbreakers. So obviously this secret team that we were going to be becoming acquaintance with has some sort of reputation. So it's good build up.
We got cool looking devil dog guy right here.
Mm-hmm.
He only wear his mask like once or twice during this entire thing.
He kind of reminds me of one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guys or something.
Yeah, Casey Jones.
Yeah, with like the hockey mask on his face.
Yeah, I always like those mask figures. Like if like for one of the things we got into works or something like that, or a potential thing we got into works, and the main character has like a mask on the entire time. Somewhat really cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of got that plague doctor look to it.
Yeah, because people's faces are just ugly. We have some ugly faces as human beings.
We do. These two guys look like they could be brothers though. Like a lot of them are very similar looking. Like I'm not sure if this guy in this upper panel over here is one of these two guys over here. I'm not sure if this guy was the guy in red before. I don't think so, because he was way more muscular than that.
He's of their same group. We can agree on.
Oh, yeah, this guy has like stripes on his face. And I think, so he's the guy that was on the walkie-talkie before having everyone clock in.
But it doesn't really help because those stripes they are with the same color as everything else.
Yeah.
It's all like they got that blue filter over it.
He could, maybe if those stripes were red.
Yeah. Like the one devil dog guy's eyes later on.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
So they're using a little bit of military slang. Looks like you definitely feel like you're in that environment and in that world while you're reading it, because of the way that the characters communicate with each other.
This feels like more like a review. We're doing a review.
Yeah.
And just poking fun at some things.
Well,
good up here.
They have the blind guy operating the sniper rifle.
That's smart. So look how he
and then he shot 3 people with 1 shot.
Doesn't that one guy look like the one guy from the Led Zeppelin cover?
Oh yeah,
albums.
A little bit. Yeah, he's got kind of like the angel pose.
They look like they're playing electric guitar instead of shooting guns or running with them.
Yeah, and one guy just has like cartoony little X eyes.
Yeah, that guy does take off the run, which is picking up for people going for living.
I have to figure out, brother. I like how Knife Hand doesn't talk. He just kind of he either has he just kind of has different types of punctuation and doesn't actually speak, and he's like, don't give me any back talk. And this is Cuffs from before, and he's missing his sunglasses. So I guess he must have taken them off in the fray. More really weird looking 3D model weapons. You've got kind of stereotypical action dialogue over here, where he's like, bring me their hearts still beating.
Can't be perfect.
Yeah. With so many action hero films and books and comics and whatnot, it gets really hard to think of
original material.
Yeah.
There are just certain tropes you just can't get rid of, so. Cliches are always bad, but.
Yeah, and it looks like he's kind of going for that feel of reviving that kind of 80s, 90s.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, that's not looked back on fondly these days anymore. The 80s, 90s era of comics and movies.
The golden age. We're back with Marvel stuff.
So the girls that they're holding, they're gonna try to get them into this helicopter. The tank comes at them, and this guy, that's not Double Dog. That one is, I don't know if they've mentioned their names yet in the first place, though.
Well, I thought he just tossed the fucking tank.
Yeah, well, actually, it looks like he grabbed a missile.
No, that's the gun.
Oh, right. Okay. Got it. Because it bent forward here.
Although I don't like the way the little effects that came afterward to show that he threw it, I think that it's creative and that it does show you like the movement order. I can feel it basically.
Mm.
Though I don't like the particular like white or whatever.
And it doesn't look like he like threw it at anybody. Like you'd think he would have chucked it at some of the guys shooting at him.
I'm just tired.
There's no sound effects that I've noticed. There were a few machine gun flares before, but there aren't too many gun flares at all. And so he's telling them to hold them off till the helicopter gets here, and then he's like, "Stay here, I'll be right back. I promise." Like, "Where are you going?" And in his head, he says to get the hell out of here. And then he tells them he's going to go get reinforcements, which is funny because oftentimes we'll see the villain pull a dirty move like that. And I just like how he acknowledges it in his own head that that's what he's doing.
Yeah, like they'll say something like that, like we're gonna go bring back some reinforcements, and then you know in your head that he's the guy who's trying to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's a nice little touch. And then they get their little 3D printed guns here, and they shoot at them.
Stay back! I'm serious. I had my men rig that building that girls are
in with explosives.
Yeah, but
I noticed that the line work actually gets like lighter with this red filter over it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's because I don't know if he inked it or if it's just really tight pencil work. So maybe with darkening the line work would help with that problem. So he's basically saying he rigged the building with the hostage girls with explosives. If you shoot me, the building will blow up because he's got the little trigger where if you let go of it, it will blow up.
And also, we got Devil Dog here. He takes off his mask just to show that he looks similar to everybody else.
That's right.
His originality and what made him cool to me is now officially gone. He's an old man.
I look like everyone else. What they basically do is they tell the bad guy that they're here for him because no one is actually going to fund a rescue for those girl hostages.
I think that's a bit of social commentary right now, though.
Yeah.
Because you see, there's a lot of times where you'll see like charities and no one gives a shit about it. Like you go up to like a cash register, and the cashier will be like, "Hey, you want to donate $1 to like Saving Wheels Foundation?" You're like, "Nah." Sometimes you may say yes, and you're like, "Guilt trip, you should do the puppy dog eyes," kind of.
You say yes after you've already gotten your change back. You just drop like the nickel in there that you're not going to use.
Yeah, or a penny, most likely.
Yeah.
And then, so that I feel like that's what that's kind of referencing. It's like people die in Africa all the time. It's just like 16 more kids or whatever.
Yeah. So he's definitely trying to go for that social commentary, but then, remember correctly, they wind up rescuing the girls after all. They're saying basically there's no one was interested in doing that, so what we're actually after is that helicopter you were bringing to escape with them. And excuse me, who's the Priest? So Priest takes off his visor just to put it back on the next panel, and Cuffs took off his. I guess he must have just lost his in the battle because I haven't seen him with him on in a while.
I kind of feel like he was like, there's too many face coverings in this panel. Who's that one guy in the background? I do not remember him except like I think once or
that's Knife Hand. That's the guy that doesn't even talk.
He looks like it's funny because he looks just like them, but he doesn't talk. He looks like the Devil Dog guy kind of.
Yeah, and I realized that these lines over here on this guy's chin, like his little cheekbone lines, those are actually like Ra's al Ghul beard strips. That's actually like weird facial hair. No, I thought it was like just the detail lines, but it's actually supposed to be a beard. You'll see it later.
This whole monotone bluish color thing, blue gray, it works. It's pretty good. But the thing is that when you add all this extra character detailing, it's hard to see because like all is the same color, so you don't really notice it unless you're really paying attention.
Yeah, just the characters need to be easily differentiated regardless of the colors.
Yeah.
You need to be able to tell from black and white images who's who.
It's still pretty good though.
Yeah.
I told you before this that it was like I'm gonna have a hard time roasting this thing.
Yeah.
Because I legitimately enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was definitely fun.
That's why it's turning more into like a review / critique type thing.
he actually pulls the classic villain mistake, and he basically reveals who hired them to do this.
Oh, yeah,
and then he says, "But we're gonna kill you anyways." It doesn't matter that he told you that. And you know, that's like one of the main ways that the antagonists in most spy movies or whatever, or villains in general, meet their downfall because they gave crucial information to their enemy.
As soon as they kill them.
Yeah.
That's what the shooting did.
I think, but he does get blown to bits, so that they actually followed through on the killing him part. But yeah, it's better not to. I feel like that was just there for expositionary purposes and not actually.
You know, I'm kind of scared because Cuffs and Priest are both looking in the same direction, and all of a sudden, you got Knife Hand looking straight at us.
Oh yeah,
he's got this serious expression on his face, like, where did you go from?
He's Deadpool if Deadpool couldn't talk. Like, he's aware that he's a character and he's like trying to communicate with us, but he can't. Anyway, the bad guy Commando with the stripes on his face over here, he's pretty much echoing my thoughts the first time his videos, where he's like, what kind of insane strategy is this? So he told him to hand over the switch, and he's like, if I do, you'll kill me. He says that's gonna happen anyway, and you guys are terrible negotiators. Which is exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. So this is clearly a good villain because you can empathize with him. That's a mark of a good villain when you understand his motivations. The thing about this is it clearly just doesn't fit.
Yeah, it stands out a lot.
Yeah. It's
tolerable, but it just stands out a lot.
This is the kind of effect you would want to go for if it was like real people taking, like they take something off of a television screen and bring it to life in the real world like that. That's the kind of effect that this would work for, but
yeah,
it doesn't fit here. But since this is, I'm assuming this is still in like its production.
Yeah, it's not that big of an issue.
He justifies his actions by saying, basically, we took care of them. We gave them food, water, clothing, shelter. Didn't do anything untowards to them. There was no hanky-panky going on in the warehouse where they were held, but he's saying that he doesn't know / has no control over what happens to them after he sells them, so he's still ultimately...
He keeps trying to sweeten the deal as if, they do care about the kids, but it's like, with his mindset right now, they don't care. You keep trying to push it, it's like, oh, well, the girl, they're fine. It's like, cool. You can come here for them. Though.
Yeah, like this might have won him some points if they're actually there for the girls.
Well, they are.
Yeah, this is the panel where I figured out that this guy had like a weird Razo Fu Manchu looking facial hair.
He's my dad.
This guy spends the whole time saying, I know you think I'm a bad guy and I did this horrible thing, but I did this horrible thing in a very nice way. And then he calls the good guy is a monster, and then he's like,
that's so, like, it's funny hearing the villain call him a monster.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's a double irony.
And Knife Hand saves those girls.
Yeah.
By cutting their heads off.
No.
I know just him being, like, really skillful, he just cut off all their chains or whatever, was locking them up at the same time.
Yeah.
But, it kind of looks like he just killed them. But it's okay, they're blank-faced anyway.
Yeah, they were all brain dead. So he drops the switch, and letting it go makes it blow up, and it blows him up. And then one of the characters asks Silkworm, is Silkworm the one with the Fu Manchu beard? That's the only guy that I can't remember the name of, so I'm assuming it's Silkworm. He like cocooned the blast with his powers, so it only affected the general guy, so it didn't blow up the warehouse, even though the building was rigged with explosives. And again, maybe this is just me not understanding what's going on, but
the page must be dirty.
Oh yeah, that was a little effect that I liked. He made the pages look like it's all old and beat up, like newsprint around the edges. I thought that was cool.
You're just using it as like toilet paper.
Yeah.
Not that this would be used for toilet paper because it's a good comic, but I'm saying it just kind of looks like it. Like you just got two little bit of good stains inside. But anyway,
immediately after telling the bad guy, we're not here for the girls, we're here to kill you, they kill them, and then they go, alright, now let's free those girls.
then they kill the girls.
By chopping their lips off. These two girls get their lips chopped off. And again, no sound effect, there's no like swing or anything like
The
that.
girls don't care too. They're just like looking straight at us.
Yeah, they don't really show any sounds. Like, you would either think A, thank goodness we just got freed, or B, oh my god, this guy just sliced through this thing with him. Oh, wait, maybe this is the cocoon they were talking about. Maybe they shielded the girls and themselves, and the warehouse blew up and they were fine. Maybe that's what happened.
To waste much brain power.
Right. It wasn't clear in the storytelling, basically.
It looks like they're kind of like in a cave type-esque thing if you don't look at the whole page and just looking at them.
What it looked like to me was that this entire thing was like, the inside of the wall. Like this instead of being negative space was the wall, and this was the rip in the wall. That's what I thought it was.
He's like, hey guys, look at my cool hand tricks.
So anyway, then they say, so I guess they just bluffed the villain so that they could make it explode harmlessly. And he says, alright, now get them in that helicopter, move it. And now they're saying that Knife Hand has this ninja clan that comes after him every time he uses his powers. So now they have to fend off these guys. And I'm assuming they're going to get more into that later. In later issues. It looks like it's a setup thing. It looks like he copied and pasted all these guys from the first panel up here. You see the faces real quick. I'm trying to get them all in the same shot. Like, you see, like, this is that, and then just repeated a bunch of times.
I thought it would be cool if these were just like some Oni-esque masks. Like, I don't know if you know what that is, but they're like Japanese ogres. And they're used a lot in like cultural references or whatever. They're just these cool looking demon things.
It looks like they just have little Robin Domino masks.
Yeah, they don't really. I was hoping it would be like, I guess maybe they're not supposed to be Japanese based, even though they say Ninja Clan.
Yeah.
I would have said Assassin Clan, but
because Knife Hands is clearly not Asian.
Yeah, he's white.
He's got what I assume to be blonde hair and the same face as these other guys. And this is kind of looking a little bit Assassin's Creed to me. Not that I'm the biggest gamer on the planet, but just...
He's really not. I'm surprised he knows what that game is. Yeah, it does remind you of that. Well, I mean, I guess there's only so many things you can do with hoods.
That's true.
So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this one.
I'm sure he is probably not the most familiar with it himself. So then they get the girls in the helicopter, they're holding off the ninja clan. We don't actually get to see really any of the ninja, actually. Like, we just kind of see them shooting arrows and stuff at the invincible black guy, who we don't know is him until... I like this little panel, though, because they're ordering him around, and in his head, he's doing that thing where he's like, at a point where they should be thanking him, they're ordering him around, so in his head, he's having them thank him.
He's got this like whole JoJo's Bizarre Adventure pose going on here.
Get in the bird and quit posing.
Yeah, he's got that one pose.
But he's
I don't know.
so he's deflecting the arrows and stuff, and he jumps in the helicopter.
He got his visor back.
Oh yeah, his visor is back on. It keeps disappearing throughout the comic.
The Ninja Clan are using RPGs? What?
Yeah, they found one of them on the ground.
We're getting more modernized.
It looks like he's holding it backwards, though. I mean, I don't know much about the weapons. Maybe he's not. The ninja guy is equally as surprised as
How did I get this?
Yeah, he's even got little exclamation points up here. So then the ninja clan guy fires and hits the helicopter, but then it says it didn't explode, it was a dud. Even though you see this explosion here.
Dud.
And it seems to have knocked off the propeller. But it's still flying, and then this plane that I guess they're supposed to rendezvous with comes to pick them up.
Classic eyes closed.
Yeah. A very, very old school Superman with everyone being all squinty. So the helicopter is still flying without the propeller.
More shit.
what they're doing is the plane is going to maneuver in front of them and open up the cargo bay, and they're going to land in the cargo bay. That would have worked if that happened very quickly, but it doesn't happen very quickly, so the helicopter just kind of like floating in the air for a little while.
I like the garlic guy there. He's like the one white guy in this thing that actually looks different from the other white guys, kind of.
Yes. He seems to have like a different
facial structure,
and
hair is all weird.
The dialogue is now conflicting with the visual that we're seeing, because they're saying only the rear motor came off, and meanwhile the entire upper propeller over here is completely missing. And he hands over the controls to the co-pilot lady over here. He tells her to take over, and she's like, I don't know how to fly. So why is she in the airplane? Was she a first puppy hired?
Yeah, they just hired her because she was a female.
Yeah. So they were like, so she wanted to be a pilot ever since she was a little kid, so she went up to the military and was like, I'd like to, like, oh my god, like, fly a plane? And they were like, well, do you have any experience? And she's like, no. So then she went and played some Grand Theft Auto, and then she came back after a year of doing that. And they're like, well, what's your experience? Well, I like flew a plane on GTA, and they're like, you're hired. So they open up the little cargo bay here, and they crash into there. He had to go into the cargo bay to open it up, and then he had to flatten against the wall. They came in and they said, hang on, we're coming in. And then we cut immediately to them in the headquarters. Like, we don't even see the resolution.
Yeah, that was one of the problems that we talked about, was with the transition.
Yeah.
Transitions are very fast.
And most of them actually don't, like, this is the only sudden transition that has a little caption at the top letting you know what happened. There was one, there are multiple transitions where it'll just cut and you don't know how much later it is, what happened, where they are. So, Diversity hired Chick explains that she's the only superhero left, and because they were all wiped out by the millennials.
Yeah, I love it. This is the part that I really love. This whole millennial and this guy, he changed his gender. He thinks God King with a slash through his circle. I love this.
So she's basically saying that the villain God King is behind wiping out all of the superpowered people and then absorbing the powers. So now he's God King. Their mission is to assassinate him because he's basically the only problem, because they've gotten New York to a military state in which there's no crime eliminated at all. He was basically like the most popular sidekick or whatever. They cleaned up the city, then he stole their powers. She's the only one left, and apparently he didn't even have any powers. And he basically like calls her out on how lame that was, and she's like, watch your tone, sure. They were my friends, and they like died.
People die all day.
Then she tells him it's a suicide mission with no pay. And so of course they're like, well, forget that.
Of course. I'd be like, forget that. Like, well, first of all, I think I've done enough good for the day. 4 hours ago, we were doing saving some blank-faced children.
It makes me wonder if they were like cardboard cutouts, because they look like they were in the same pose when they were in the helicopter. Like, what if it was just one big cardboard cutout of a bunch of little girls?
It was all a practice run.
It was training.
The world may never know.
Oh, and you were telling me when I first looked at this panel, I thought that this word balloon should have been up higher, because like you said before, having it cross the gutter here lets you know that you're supposed to read this one first, but then you have to realize that you need to go up and then come back down.
Yeah.
So
that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think for like a smoother reading experience, maybe this could have been
like where that, like right next to his head, a little bit higher, where the cheek is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that if he cut out, took this guy that's in the top left over here, and moved him down, and moved this guy on the bottom over up here again, you could put this panel, word balloon up here. I don't know. It was just like, it's like a little nitpicky thing. But there is a good little bit here where he's like, he gets excited because he thinks he's gonna get paid some
cheddar.
Yeah, some serious cheddar, and she says no one says cheddar anymore. He's like, for real?
I think it's funny that he's trying way too hard to be black.
Yeah, and they even call him out on it later, like right in this panel right here.
I'm gonna be real with you. Just stop.
Do a PhD.
Macroeconomics from Princeton. I'm talking like Snoop Dogg. He's code switch.
But he basically said, I'm gonna go bench press Buicks, and then in the very next panel, he's already bench pressing Buicks. It was weird, awkward transitional thing again.
It was, but yeah, it was funny too.
That would have been a good next page transition, like if you flip the page and you see him doing the Buicks thing.
Yeah.
So, because you could have had maybe the rest of them, because they actually follow through on the mission later on. So I think maybe if you used where these two panels are to show the rest of them agreeing to it, and then you flip to the next page and then you see him bench pressing, and then cops come over, that would work a little better.
That wouldn't be. Quick question: how did those cars go from the horizontal to vertical?
You're right. I didn't pick up on that bit first.
You probably. Oh, I see what you did there. You're terrible. Anyway.
Oops, I scrolled behind. I don't like PDFs. This isn't his fault at all, but
and all of a sudden he does not have his visor going.
Yeah, he took off his visor so he could put emphasis on the.
Well, no. Fuck it, I'm saying. I want the thickness on his lips. It's really standing out.
This is one distinguishing feature besides his haircut.
Well, he's black, so.
And this begs the question. I'm from New York, and when I say that, everyone assumes that I'm talking about New York City.
He's from Masturbation Beach.
I'm from Mastic Beach on Long Island, which is a part of the state of New York. Like, people seem to forget that there's like a state and an island that makes up New York. They just immediately think of Manhattan Island, and they just assume that everyone that's from New York is from the Big Apple. So I don't know if they're in New York City. I don't know if they're in New York State.
I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So.
Yeah. Well, it just seems to me that like every single Marvel hero is already in New York. I don't think they need the Jawbreakers.
Too many freaking people. Too many people in New York. We need some people down in Philadelphia. That's what we need. City of brotherly love. Those people are getting shot over there.
Well, if it's the city of brotherly love, they should stop shooting people.
They need some people like Superman to help.
Well, let's call the Jawbreakers.
Who you gonna call? Jawbreakers. Dun, 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 dun.
Silkworm is saying that we did everything we could to help them out, and then we left. No one noticed that we were gone. He says here, this is like a good little bit here. He says, the next group of girls won't get saved because we wanted to fight above our weight. You want to be a hero? Fine, do it without me.
We were never heroes. We were superheroes. Well, we're mercenaries. Good power.
Yeah. And these two panels kind of break the 180-degree rule a little bit.
Not familiar with that.
That's when you keep it consistent that one is on the left and one is on the right, and you don't you keep the camera on the one side of them. Like, it's for most of this conversation, Cuffs is on the right and Silkworm's on the left, but we see over here that Cuffs is on the left and he's on the right. And then again, this is like
he's on the left and the right.
Yeah, and this is like a left straight on shot. He's like, it's straight on, but he's to the left, so a little bit of the 180-degree rule is broken. And then another like very stark transition here. And it just kind of cuts to Silkworm, who was just talking to him, coming up to the priest, who has like Cyclops eyes a little bit.
I like him though.
Yeah. He's holding like his
3D animated gun.
Yeah, his holographic weapon. Silkworm then reveals his prejudice for Irish people. And I love this though. Like, it's a good bar trick. He wears it. His visors appear, and then they disappear again. I bet that's like a good conversation starter.
So, what happened to your eyes?
And then, so he tells him to stop drinking, and then he goes to the gun range with the booze that he just confiscated, and then he starts drinking himself, and he has the gun that he just confiscated, So now he's doing the exact same thing that he told his friend not to do. And now he's taking it to the gun range where he's actually going to be firing it.
Both hands on the gun at all times, sir.
Yes. And then, I guess his superior... I think this is Devil Dog, right? This guy who shows up and punches him in the face and reuses the exact same picture on the cover.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, it is. He says so. Devil Dog comes up and he wants to give him a talking to, and he's like, I'm not having any of it, and then he punches him in the face. It doesn't bother me that he reused this concept in it, because I hate it when stuff that happens on the cover doesn't happen in the book. So I like that. I just wish that he didn't like literally copy and paste the image in there. Like the only thing that's different is that he tilted it, and there's the gun right there. And there's no like pow or walk or bam or anything like that.
Oh, wham.
I think if he had like redrawn the image entirely so that it was slightly compositionally different, just so that it didn't look like a cheat. But I do respect that he put in what happened on the cover in the actual book. That doesn't happen enough. So he punches him in the face for being a jerk, and he's like, you deserve that for being a jerk and for talking to your daughter like that.
All of a sudden, his daughter comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, and he's like, he says that she's not his daughter, and then he says, shut up, she looks just like her.
I'm guessing that what he's doing is he's shamelessly trying to get you to read the other ones. They're probably going to come out.
I guess so.
That's like leaving a cliffhanger at the end of like a story. Like, oh, come on, now I gotta watch the next episode.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Like he's using all these like little plot threads and references, because they also later on they're going to reference like, oh, we promised not to talk about what happened in the Tower of Truth, man. And you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, like, don't touch me or something like that.
Yeah. So then he tells him, this is a suicide mission. You know it, I know it. I'm leading the team since you're sitting this one out. And then Autumn goes to his quarters, Silkworm's quarters, and she's like, I'm your daughter. I haven't seen you since you were 6. Why are you doing this? And he basically just ignores her through the door. And then super out of nowhere cut to them prepping to go into battle. And again, they didn't want to go on the mission, and now they're going on the mission.
Like, they might be giving them crap the entire time, though.
Yeah.
Other missions are probably saying, oh, this is going to be fun. They do it just to complain. I have the right to complain. But I'll do it anyway. Like, you want me to take out the trash? Fine, I'll take out the trash. This is all I'm good for. No, I'll take out the trash.
So, we don't know what convinced them to actually go through with it, because they're not getting paid, and they're all kind of like, oh, hell no.
We'll probably find that out in the next issue, too.
Probably. And then then Silkworm comes and he's like, alright, I'm leading the mission. They're like, I thought Devil Dog was leading the mission. And he's like,
you thought wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's breaking the 180 rule right here. Silkworm goes from being on the left, facing the left, to being on the being on the left, facing the right, to being on the right, facing the left. And we've consistently seen Cuffs with his disappearing glasses.
I know, now it's all shadow.
Yeah, facing to the left and both, and now he's on the right, and he's on the left.
To be honest with you, I forgot all about, my first time reading this, I forgot all about Knife Hand, and I thought that was just like the priest guy wearing like a turn mask.
Oh yeah. So then they're gonna basically jump out of the plane, and they're saying that the plane is really...
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. They're like, I'm not jumping out of that, it's like straight black. And this is kind of like...
It's like straight black.
I thought that... this might be a bit pretentious of me to say so, but I thought that he was like trying to be poetic with it. He says, all I see is inky blackness that extends forever. And this is the same guy who's been talking jive the whole time. It just didn't quite feel right. But I did like how he says, it looks like I'm looking down into your soul. He could have...
Maintains like that level of like, we're still talking with each other, but I'm still legitimately scared.
Yeah, that was good. Like this first little balloon coming from him seems kind of pretentious, but then the next one is like right on.
All I see is inky blackness that extends forever.
I think he could have said he's like, I can't see anything down there. Like that would have worked.
It's so inky.
Yeah, this inky blackness that extends forever, that would be like an old school caption that you see like up here. And it would be like, they look down and all they see is inky blackness that extends forever. Like that's where that kind of thing goes. Anyway. He dropped his glasses looking down into the inky blackness, I guess, because he doesn't see it anymore.
Inky.
So he has, like, I don't know what you call them. They're not
Yeah.
It's kind of like he's got telekinesis, but like Silkworm, he can create constructs with his mind. I think is the thing. Like he creates like little shields that he calls cocoons. I think that's what the thing is. And then the priest is scanning the city. I guess that's what his thing is.
I was just thinking that the priest can just like see stuff. Well, yeah, probably, yeah. If you just like see what other people, I don't know.
He says,
"You're probably right. It's probably very simple."
Oh, he says it right here. He says, "I can see evil." That's the thing. Like, even though it may seem like it's kind of like beating you over the head with it, the dialogue, for the most part, tells you what you need to know. Like, some of it is a little bit forced, but like you're still getting the information. That's a lot more than you can say of a lot of comics these days. Like I've tried to jump into random stories. Like I'll see a cool cover, I'll be like,
"Shut up!"
I'll see a cool cover and I'll be like, "Oh, cool!" Like Deathstroke versus Wonder Woman. I'll have no idea what's going on because they don't.
That's interesting. So does that actually happen?
Yeah, I have that one. I can show you it later. I actually got it for the comic book shop that I go to, Parker, Banner, Kent Lane. I'm gonna plug them a little bit here. They're super nice. I picked it up and I saw that like it had like a little tear on the cover and they discounted it for me because of that. Like they're just really nice people there. So if you're in the Cornelius area, go find them. They're right next to a Rite Aid.
We're in North Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, our exact address is.
Just don't do that. Don't do that. We'll get bombs sent to us. But of course, the mailbox is nowhere near the house, so it's okay.
Oh, I see. So we never see it. Like they were just the cuffs was just hitting on him, right? He was just hitting on Jane Austen.
Yeah.
And then he says, "I can't believe you just cocooned up your own daughter." And then he's like, "She would have been a liability if you took her off." So he trapped her in one of those cocoon things. We don't see that happen. Like he just like offhandedly mentions that.
Hell, I would do the same thing. You don't need no fucking liabilities.
Yeah, but I don't know why that seems like it's an important thing that like there are some things that like the "I see evil, I know what I'm looking at." That's good expositionary dialogue. This is just kind of like, "Oh, I ran out of pages, so we need to kind of cram that in there real quick."
I mean, is this his first comic?
I think it's like his first one by himself. I don't know a whole lot about his publication history because it's hard to find too much information on him in the first place.
Well, this story again isn't that bad. It's not. It's pretty good actually, and I'll read the next one probably.
Oh, definitely.
If I can find it. But
if he puts it out.
Yeah, hopefully. Please put it out. We really enjoy this. But we really are just like kind of nitpicking.
Yeah.
Because it's good. It's good. And all we can do is nitpick.
Yeah, and that'll make it even better if what we and I'm sure other people are going to say, if he takes into account everyone critiquing it, it'll be that much better for it.
Yeah. Although I'm not one of the people who can take critique, I hate it all. I'm a big enough critic myself, and if I don't respect someone who's giving me critique, then I'm like, shut up.
I have like a mixture of both. Like I'll take critique if I feel like it's necessary and it applies to the thing. And this is a cool little moment here. We gotta kind of wrap this up. I'm sure even with editing, this is gonna be longer than even one of his videos.
Yeah.
This is a cool little bit here. They jump out of there and he cocoons them and they land in the water. Their 3D model weapons turn into 3D model rose petals.
Because we all just love beef.
And God King, I guess, uses power to do that. And then they say, "He's growing as big as a building," and we don't get to see it. And he's like, it was always a suicide mission. It still is. No one said it would be easy to kill a god. And that's all nice and intense and even has the red and everything. But what this should have been was, in my opinion, you get like this happening because you already got the shot and then having their guns disappearing, and then we get it again right here. We have 2 panels that are happening. That could have been 1 panel, I think. And then you even get like this 3rd panel of the final bits flaking out of his hand, and he checks his other pouch, and that turned in as well. I think you could have just had 1 panel of all of the guns disappearing, and then instead of showing him, because I have a hard time showing you because of this PDF format. Basically, this panel up here, you could have had all of this stuff happen up here, I think, in like 1 single bit. And then the rest of the page dedicated to this line of dialogue saying, "No one said it would be easy to kill a god," instead of showing God King growing as big as a building.
I know, I would like to see that. I was interested in what that would look like.
Yeah, I think that would have been... And then that's the last page, so then that's your cliffhanger to get the next one.
What's kind of interesting to me is that these are like normal people being sent to kill someone who has godlike abilities, basically.
Right. Well, there's some of them are normal. Like one of the cuffs is bulletproof, and one of the other guys has super strength and stuff. But
it's been done before too. It's just, I don't know why it's kind of stands out to me in this one.
Yeah, because they have powers, but they have like each one of them has like a very specific power. Seems like, and then they have to work as a team to take down this guy who has, as far as we know, infinite abilities.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get it. Hopefully you release it. You should probably sell stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I feel kind of guilty about like looking at it for free. Like I feel like I should have, laid down like $2 for it or something like that.
Hell, if we gotta pay for Swirl Girl, at least we can do is pay for stuff like this.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not saying that. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's good. Okay, it's good. Swirl Girl's not that good.
I would much rather lay out $3 for this than $3 for most of what Marvel is producing these days.
Yeah.
And this has like 11 more pages than your average comic book as well.
Yeah.
We're getting 11 pages more for free, and it's all good quality as opposed to like the cruddy stuff that gets pumped out with the standard length. Like obviously, like there's not a whole lot to really roast about it. It's a very misleading title.
Yeah.
But
I think you purposely made this good just so we couldn't roast you guys.
Yeah. I think like the worst we can do is like be nitpicky about it and then see if like that'll just make it that much better. There's as far as read it, rip it, roast it goes. We attempted roasting it, but I'd say it's definitely a read. You can go look at his. I mean, who's gonna watch this? Like 5 people. You know where to find him.
Yeah.
Diversity in Comics on YouTube. Look for his video that says "Roast My Comic Jawbreakers," and he'll have a link to his Twitter that has a link to Dropbox where you can download the PDF. It's very convoluted, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's it. I guess this will be a jumping off point for. Because I've had this idea for a while, but I've been discouraged by more and more people who do similar things. I was going to call it Mysteries with the McCave, in which we evaluate comic books and whatnot and talk about it. But, because that seems like a lot of people on YouTube already do that, so I haven't really done it. But it seems like this is just a good jumping off point, and it seems like the audience is there for it as well. It seems I went from being discouraged by seeing how popular it was to do that to being encouraged.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird, but I'll see if we can start doing stuff like that.
Looking forward to it. After this, Jameson's going to tie me to a chair and make me read All-Star Batman.
Yes. I actually love that comic book.
I'm looking forward to reading it too, but I'm scared that he's just going to be staring at me the whole time, which he probably is.
Yes. Well, anyway, tell us what you think about this video. Tell us what you think about our terrible roasting. Tell us what you think about Mysteries with in the McCave. Whether or not we should do that on our channel, even though a lot of other people do similar things. And tell us what you think about our poorly done references to Diversity in Comics channel.
This is Manny Ortiz.
And this is Jameson McCran.
Bye.